Ating countdown, bibigyan mo kasi hindi ka so tengo ka to.
This is Steve Mace, Director of Operations at the Eastern Sierra Avalanche Center. Hoping you will join us at the Page Center at Snarl this Saturday for the Eastern Sierra Snow and Avalanche Workshops. This event is free to the public. It'll run from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Once again, at the Page Center at the Snarl near Convict Lake. For more information, please visit our website, esavalanche.org. And from all of us here at ESAC, we are wishing you a fun and safe season in the backcountry.
Hello, I'm Jeff Gabriel with Sierra Forever, and we have some exciting events coming up at the end of November. The first one's going to be Saturday, November 23rd, and it's going to be on the geology of the Alabama Hills. The second one will be Sunday, November 30th, and it'll be the natural history from the ground up. Both these talks will be at the Alabama Hills National Scenic Area. You are to meet at the Mobius Arch parking lot, and both events are 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Again, this is outdoors, so these events could be changed at any time, or they might be moved somewhere else. So please keep that information available when you go to sierraforever.org to get that more information. Again, we have November 23rd and November 30th as the two opportunities to be able to experience the Alabama Hills National Scenic Area. And again, since they are outdoors, do make sure you bring clothing for warmth, as well as sturdy shoes, water, sunscreen, everything you need to enjoy a wonderful opportunity to be outside. Again, I'm Jeff Gabriel with Sierra Forever. Educate, inspire, explore.
This is Steve Mace, Director of Operations at the Eastern Sierra Avalanche Center. We're hoping you will join us this Saturday night, Canyon Lodge at Mammoth Mountain, for our annual season kickoff fundraiser event. Jim Zellers, a big mountain snowboarding legend from here in the Sierra, will be joining us this year as our keynote speaker. We will have a giant raffle, silent auction, and food and beverage available. Doors open at 5, show starts at 7, cost is $30. For more information, please visit esavalanche.org. And from all of us at ESAC, we're wishing you a fun and safe season in the backcountry.
Hello, this is Jimmy T with Ion Inyo Furry Humans. Today we've got, look at this face. This is Tundra and the amazing PIO Lindsay Stein. Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
So tell me about this. Look at this Tundra. Tell me about Tundra.
So Tundra is about 11 months old. He is from Bishop. He's just looking for a home, and he is a very mellow little dog. And he actually is doing a lot better. He was a little skittish at first, but he's really coming along and excited to meet new people. And he loves to go on walks and just loves all the pettings you can give him.
Was he an abandonment or a rescue? Or do you know?
So I would say he's a rescue. He was found and picked up by the animal shelter, so a rescue.
Tundra is just, I don't know if you can see, look at this face. He's so shy. He won't come up and lick me or anyone.
He's doing better though, definitely.
So he's 11 months.
Yes.
How much bigger will he grow?
So he's still growing, definitely. So I think he's going to be a little bit on the bigger side.
Yes,
a little bigger than medium.
Yes, I love you too. So tell me what is the population at the shelter right now?
So currently right now there are 30 cats and 26 dogs. So the shelter is definitely still pretty full. So come on down and see if you can find your forever companion.
Now, and what is the number once again?
760-938-2715. And then they are open Tuesday through Friday from 10 to 3, and then Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4.
Now, I realize you guys put your best foot forward, but the animals you brought in, they've been just wonderful.
Yeah.
And Tundra's, like you said, he was skittish, but now he's lovable.
Yeah, I really have to say the animal shelter team there and all of the volunteers from, Eastern Sierra Dog Rescue, they put a lot of time and effort into all of the dogs and all the animals that come in through the door. So, some of these animals, they've come from a really rough life and they aren't sure about humans. They need to build that trust, and our team is just doing really awesome. And we have to give a lot of credit to what our crew does down there to help these dogs and cats, grow and trust humans in order to find a really good home for them. And, you know, it's just giving them that second chance that they need.
Yep. Everybody needs a second chance.
Yes.
Tundra, I always bet on Tundra. He's going to be a great forever.
Yes.
Lindsay, I appreciate it very much. It's always a pleasure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And just a reminder to spay and neuter all your animals. And if you need any resources or any information, you can contact the shelter. And we can definitely give you some information. It's just really important to help keep some of the population down with all the animals that we're seeing come in. We've got some puppies, definitely. So just a reminder, spay and neuter. And if you're interested in fostering, that you reach out to the shelter as well. There's plenty of animals to foster, and you can find out if they're a good fit in your own home. We have quite a few dogs that have gone home from actually being fostered. They go home on a foster, and then we get a call saying, hey, I would really like to adopt this dog. He's really growing on me. So that's definitely something you can do as well.
A big salute to you foster parents. Lindsay Stein, I appreciate it very much. Tundra, thanks for coming to visit. Wow, what a dude.
Yeah.
This is Jimmy T with Ion Inyo Forever Humans. Thanks very much.
I think for a moment, this will be a stop.
And it's exacerbated here because a lot of the area is owned by government.
Yeah,
or,
exactly. Public lands. Yeah, public lands are managed.
Yes.
In trust for their people by the federal government. There are lands.
You mowed the lawn for me. You understand that?
So one other thing I want to say with regards to the EMCC, again, it's made up of a lot of volunteer fire department representatives, whether they be board members, the fire chiefs themselves, or a volunteer. And I think it's really important for our public to know that EMS services outside of currently Sierra Life Flight Reach, and prior to that, Simons and the Bishop operating area, have been provided by volunteers. Now, volunteer fire departments have no legal requirement to provide an ambulance. But I think it's really important to understand that they're doing this anyway. They're trying to support this at a loss. And we'll get into the financials in a moment. But first, this goes without saying, but volunteer firefighters spend hours and hours and hours in training to provide fire response. And that is notable and laudable. But to provide ambulance service, we're going a whole nother level of volunteerism. First of all, basic life support. So you hear us talk all the time about BLS. So BLS is basic life support, and that requires an EMT level certification. So an EMT has to, and there's different structures of teaching now, but I've had a lot of employees over the years who were whiffers and then went on to get their EMTs. At a minimum, 30 days of class and intensive training to become an EMT. Then you want to have some experience. It's just like a physician. You don't want to say, okay, you graduated medical school, go do surgery. You know, there's internships and all these things. So you need some ride-alongs. And then you have to pass the national registry, which is very difficult. So the people that are volunteers at fire departments who take this extra step is just unbelievably serving. And I think it's part of why, and I'm very careful because it's part of why the system itself is so fragile, because we're asking so much of volunteers. And, over the years, we have had some volunteers in our fire districts here in Inyo County that have been the EMT on service for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, some of them. And I think it's just one of the issues we face today. It's harder and harder for people to put in that kind of, or that level of volunteerism. So.
There's also different levels of emergency medical service.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's called BLS 1 and BLS 2.
Yeah.
So you're in an accident, somebody says, hey, do this. I can't do it. I'm sorry, I may not do that.
Yeah.
I'm not authorized to do that.
Right.
And the lawyers show up.
That's
So,
exactly
sorry.
right. No, you're absolutely right. So there's multiple levels. There's also ALS, which typically would be further advanced life support care. And that requires a whole nother, typically provided by a medic, which that's just a whole nother level of training. And typically that's what your professionals would provide. But it's worth noting, because just as you said, maybe someone who's an EMT, maybe they may be LACS, which is another level, as you said, of basic life support, but and greater advanced life saving. So BLS is your essential life-saving techniques, right? And you still have to have incredible training and certification for that. But to go to those other levels, you start to think, okay, well, what kind of service should we have in our remote areas of the county, where it's fully volunteers? We just came 2 weeks ago. We had our Southeast County board workshops and meetings, Tacoma, Shoshone, Charleston View. I mean, they don't even have these services available. Volunteers have been trying to do it, but it's difficult. So we have some issues we need to take care of there, and they're ways from a hospital. We have residents in Olancha, Cartago who are away from a hospital as well. Do they go to Southern Inyo? Do they go to Ridgecrest? But more than that, a lot of your volunteers are responding to highway accidents. So, but yet here in the Bishop operating area, we have a quality service, professional service, and volunteers, and we have a hospital nearby, thank goodness. But these are all the things that you have to juggle in a system that's fragile. It's borne by volunteers in large part, but also we have these geographical issues, and then you have the financial issues. So
Who's going to...
Yeah. So these are all things we're trying to balance out. So that's just a little bit of kind of introduction that I wanted to talk about.
So why are you here? So what happened is I got a phone call that said, hey, you need to look at this. And big salute to Mr. Tate. So I called Tenoral and I called Jen Rozier, and she said, so she's on top of this. She knew what was going on, so she's coming to fill the gaps.
Yeah. So I think
happened?
I think it's important to talk about the history of EMS in Inyo County. And when I say EMS, remember I'm talking about more than just the ambulance service. I'm talking about dispatch. I'm talking about you always hear responders talk about comms, radio comms. So there's a whole system that needs to be in place for this to work. It's essential. I guess what I should do is maybe back up and talk a little bit about how we got to where we are and some of the crisis you're seeing in some of our other volunteer departments. One, I think it's just fair to say that after 30 years of exemplary service to what we call the Bishop operating area, in January of 2023, Judd Simons, on behalf of Simons Ambulance and the parent company that held his company, basically gave notice that they would no longer be able to fulfill the contract for the Bishop operating area. And this is important too. People are wondering what's the difference between an EOA and a contract and an RFP and Big Pine and Independence and Lone Pine. So we have what we call an exclusive operating area, and Simons held what was called the exclusive service to that exclusive operating area, and it was the Bishop, the tribe, and the greater Bishop area. And exclusivity was important because the last thing you want is, I'll be a little bit off the edge here, but a fly-by-night outfit to come in and undercut someone and then put your good operator out of business, and then they're gone, and then the other one leaves. And that happened in this county before. And so people are very wary, and some of our volunteer departments are wary of it as well. So exclusive operating area gave Simons the exclusivity they needed to try to be profitable. Now, it never was a huge money-making venture anyway. It was an act of service. But I think it's really important to note that there were a number of changes. And I believe he even had Judd here a couple of years ago, and he explained some of this. And he's a professional at it, and he knows his business well.
Hello, this is Jimmy T with Eye on Inyo, Family Wellness to Healing Court. And we have Judge Stout to tell us about a brief background about it, which is a noble cause. Welcome, Judge Stout.
Thank you.
Please tell us about the Healing to Wellness Court.
I need to talk a little bit about Native American history and background to perhaps help your viewers better understand why we're embarking on this joint jurisdiction court between the Superior Court of California, County of Inyo, and the Bishop Pike Tribal Court. As many people are aware, we're dealing now with what's being referred to as historical or generational trauma. I think many people, especially in this area, understand and appreciate the history and genocide and Native Americans, and even more recently, going up into the 70s, the intentional governmental breakup of Native American families. We have local history of kids being taken from their parents, sent to boarding schools. Unfortunately, many of them died or were killed. We're still finding more recently up in Canada unmarked graves, Native youth, Indigenous youth that have been removed from their families. You know, they were trying to assimilate them to be white and cutting their hair, which with a young male is a very sacred
sin, basically.
Yes. Not letting them speak their native language, wear their dress, their ceremonies. And we've learned that even when families, Native American families, don't want to talk about that history and they don't share it with their children or grandchildren, it's still passed on. They call it epigenetics, and I'm out of my league right now. But they learned a lot from descendants of survivors from the Holocaust, that this historical trauma is still in their DNA.
Yep.
And that's what we're starting to learn more about Native Americans and the passing down generation to generation of this historical or generational trauma. And it's particularly significant in child welfare cases, where you may have a mother, for example, who's the victim of domestic violence. And whether you're white or regardless of race, women are in that domestic violence situation. The dynamics of that makes it very, very hard to leave that relationship, to cooperate with authorities, and that's a whole discussion in and of itself. But for Native American women, they're scared that their child's going to be removed on the theory of the mother failing to protect the child from the domestic violence perpetrated on the mother. And so it triggers that generational trauma. Here comes Child Protective Services, social worker with the sheriff, and we're the government, we're here to help you, and that translates, no, you're the government and you're here to break up my family and remove my children. And unfortunately, California has been very cognizant of the Indian Child Welfare Act, which was passed by Congress in 1978 to remedy many of these inappropriate removals. But unfortunately, even today in California, which is rather progressive in terms of appreciating the need for the Indian Child Welfare Act, a Native American child is 5 times more likely than a white child to be initially removed by Child Protective Services.
5 times.
Yeah, they're disproportionately represented throughout the country in our child welfare system. And so a lot of it is a failure on the part of the parents to engage in a timely manner in the treatment plan. And so with the joint jurisdiction court, we're trying to create a situation where the state court judge and the tribal court judge will sit together, have a tribal social worker paired up with the county CPS worker. They can respond jointly to initial reports of child abuse or neglect. Hopefully we can find family, engage in active efforts to prevent removal that are culturally appropriate, try to keep the child safely in the home, and if not, to find family for appropriate preferences of placement under the Indian Child Welfare Act, develop culturally appropriate service plans, hopefully with the involvement of the tribal court, and probably more so with the social worker, more trust, more confidence, engage in services in a timely manner and have more successful outcomes for our families.
So you want to heal the family instead of just administering justice or punishment, sorry.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the benefits I think from, and I am grateful to Judge Stephen Place, the presiding judge now of the Inyo County Superior Court, for his insights and willingness to move in this direction. He's also on the California Judicial Council has a tribal court, state court judges forum where it's representative of state court judges and tribal court judges. And Judge Place and I are both on it. I was on as a state court judge initially, and now I'm on as a tribal court judge, and he's on state court judge. So his leadership and his understanding and knowledge and wisdom here is a great benefit to help us try to produce these better outcomes for our Native American families.
Awesome. Judge Stout, thank you very much. I think it's a noble calling.
Thank you very much.
This is Jimmy T with Eye on Inyo, healing the family to wellness. Family healing to wellness. Stay tuned.
I'm Jason Brown.
I'm Jimmy T.
And you know, we just got done watching the best Christmas pageant ever. And Jimmy has a big saying of friends don't let friends do Christmas before Thanksgiving, but I think you might make an exception for this.
I will make an exception.
Roll trailer.
Audiences and critics everywhere love the best Christmas pageant ever.
Let's get to it. It's exactly right.
It's perfect for the whole family.
It's going to be the best Christmas pageant ever.
The best Christmas pageant ever. Rated PG.
All right, Jimmy.
Yes, I would buy it. I want to watch it again. I'm recommending my friends already to go see it. This is...
yes, I loved it. Absolutely adored this movie. I'd buy it. I am going to buy it.
I'm going to buy it.
I would like to watch it again before Christmas. Or even, like, the thing is, I don't know how long it's staying, so I'd like to watch it again before Thanksgiving.
The dialogue is outstanding. The emotional roller coaster. I mean, you go from elation to...
Guys, I don't care what you're doing this weekend. You need to find time to come out to the Bishop Twin Theater and to see this movie. I mean, this is a heartwarming story. It's also like Bad News Bears meets A Christmas Story. It blew my mind. I made a comment to you. I said, I'm so glad we had the theater to ourselves so we could laugh as hard and as loud as we wanted to. And we did from the beginning of the credits starting.
Up until it said Manitoba, Canada. Then but yes, So the premise is the town's going to have a 75th anniversary.
Biggest pageant
ever.
But it's never changed. It's always the same.
Always the same.
It's a boring pageant.
And there's
nothing ever different.
There's a family called the Herdmans.
Which are like the bad news bears.
They're just horrible. They smoke. They cuss. They steal. They're just
they lie.
Six-bag children.
Everything.
And they decide they want to be in the pageant.
And we're not going to tell you why or how, because that is what you need to come see about the movie. And of course, the town is in an uproar about this.
Yes.
The town, this is the end. This is a disaster. And people are coming from everywhere. This is being, they're running commercials on TV to attract people in to come see it. So like an audience of 500 people.
The pressure's on.
And it really comes down to the last minute of the story. So I don't want to ruin anything for you. I just really want to tell you, without a doubt, I have not seen a movie that I would recommend everybody out there must come see. No joke.
It's
absolutely no joke. It's clean, it's family friendly, and it's hilarious. I mean, until it gets to that one point where the star throwing ninjas get you a little bit.
The invisible onion cutting ninjas start throwing something.
I have to say,
it was cold. It was it was cold.
It was the cold theater. No, I actually have to say, to me, they were tears of joy.
Yes, absolutely.
And wow, what a, okay.
People say heartwarming. Okay, this is heartwarming. My heart was glowing.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't the indigestion from the wonderful croissant that I got from.
And I'm sorry, Jimmy, but I have to say this movie has put me into the Christmas spirit already. So this guy is going to Christmas before Thanksgiving, thanks to the best Christmas pageant ever.
You get a 1 year waiver.
I get a 1 year waiver. Thank you so much. Like I said, though, Herdman's, Bad News Bears, rest of the movie, kind of like storytelling through a Christmas story. Just delightful.
A non-secular Christmas story.
Yeah, just delightful.
I give it 2 front teeth up.
If I had more thumbs, buddy, there would be there. I mean, I'm seriously ready for Christmas now. Thank you, Holly, for letting us do this. Today was one of the most amazing days ever, getting to see this movie. I haven't. Just come see it. You have to. You owe it to yourself. Don't wait till it comes at home. Come see it on the big screen. Be with other people, because you know what? You're going to be laughing together. You're going to be,
you'll be nudging and pointing.
That's one of the reasons why we got to come back and see it with other people.
Yes.
We got to laugh with other people.
This is a shareable movie. A lot of movies are like, okay, I need to watch this by myself because I have a dark sense of humor. Well, this one, you need to go with the family. It's made for everyone, from children to older
people,
senior silver citizens.
Yeah, something like
me.
that. Guys, we gave you the premise. You know it. Watch the full trailer. But whatever you do, do not miss this movie while it is at the Bishop Twin Theater. You need to come and laugh and enjoy with other people and break the rule. You can Christmas before Thanksgiving this year. Thank you. I'm Jason Brown.
I'm Jimmy T.
And this was us just reviewing another movie, but this was not just another movie.
I've actually had that flight attendant.
You guys will understand that joke in the credits. Thanks for watching.
Do you hear what we hear? Everyone loves the best Christmas pageant ever.
That's the spirit. Deep down, those kids might just have good instincts.
That's a pageant I'd actually like to see.
Rated PG.